There are two ways to enter your schedules into Perfect Record, and both of them are accessed here on the schedule page on the navigation bar. So here in the schedule page, on the upper left-hand corner, we have two blue buttons, Create Contest and Bulk Create Contest. The Create Contest button is going to allow you to create an individual game, and the Bulk Create Contest is going to allow you to upload an Excel spreadsheet with a whole bunch of contests on it to create multiple contests at once. When you click on the Create Contest button, you're given a window that asks you to enter the basic information for the game that you want to create. Basically, all that information that you want to go onto the contract. So for sport, you can just choose the drop down and select the sport from the list. But actually, the easier way to do it is to just start typing the name of the sport right here in the box. And you can skip the men's or women's, just go straight to the name of the actual sport itself. It'll make it easier to find it. So for basketball, for example, if I want to find men's basketball, I can just start typing the word basketball. And you see as I type, it filters that list down to match what I typed, allowing me to find the sport that I want quickly. And then you click on it from the list. Opponent worked much the same way. So I could scroll through this whole list and find the school that I want, but there are about 2,000 schools on this drop down, and so you could be scrolling for a long time trying to find the name of the school you want. Instead, just pick the most unique part of that school's name and start typing it. So for purpose of this demo here, I'm going to choose one of my made up schools called Mangrum Institute of Technology. So I'm just going to start typing Mangrum, and then you see it filters that down and shows me any school that matches what I typed. Mangrum's the only one there, and so I go ahead and click on it, and now I've selected my opponent. Date works exactly as expected should. You can go down here and you can select the date on the calendar, or you can just directly type it into the box. Either way works. Let's go ahead, since this is men's basketball and we're looking into next year, let's make this, Friday, November 27th next year. Time starts out as TBA. You can click the clock here and then set the specific start time. Let's just say we've got a 7 p.m. start time. You can do hours, minutes, and then AM, PM. That's all that's required. Everything from location and officials on down, these are all optional fields. And the way that these work is if you enter information into the field, then the name of that field along with the information you entered is going to show up on the contract. And if you leave it blank, then that field won't even show up at all in the contract, keeping the contracts looking nice and clean. You don't have fields where you have to put not applicable or leave them blank on your contract. You'll notice that a couple fields here, location and officials, for this contract here, pre-populated with information. And the way that these were pre-populated is you can actually set defaults on a sport by sport basis for information that you want to automatically appear on your contracts. You do that under the My Account page, and there's an edit contract defaults button under My Organization on that page. What you can do is you can go ahead and save those defaults and set them one time for that type of information that's not really going to change from game to game, and then it'll automatically be entered when you go to create a new contract in that sport after you set those defaults. I highly recommend you do that before you create your schedules, because it makes it a whole lot easier to get your schedules into the system with the correct information you want to show up on the contract. So what you see down here are the most commonly encountered fields you find on contracts, other conditions, future commitment guarantee. Sometimes you need additional information. That's what this Show Additional Fields button is for. Here you can scroll down and see other fields. Some people like their head coach information to show up on contracts. You can have things like cancellation terms or ticket info, radio and video rights. So you can have really any field that you look for. We cover most of them. And again, you can leave any of these blank or you can fill them out. It's up to you. And if you fill it out, it'll show up. You leave it blank, it won't at all. So let's just go ahead and throw in another conditions here. We'll say, no towels provided. And let's go ahead and create this contest. And then once this contest is created, you're back in the schedule page. To find that contest you just created, you can scroll and find it, but you should keep in mind that we have these schedule filters here on the left, and these filters are going to narrow down all the contests that you have in our system and allow you to find the one you want easily. So you can filter by season, by home or away, by opponent. Probably the most useful is filtering by sport. So let's just filter by men's basketball so we can only see our men's basketball games. And now we see everything else is hidden, and now we just have men's basketball. But now, hey, we don't see that game that we just created. That's because one of our other filters is active that's preventing that. Right now, we're only looking at contests for the current academic year, the 2019-20 academic year. I want to look forward to next year since I just created this contest for fall 2020. So that's going to show up in the following academic year. And I can just go ahead and add that in on the drop down here. So now I'm looking at both 1920 and 2021. And now I can see that game that I created right here. And I actually created a different version before, so you see two of them right there. And so if I want to just look at the current year, I can get rid of last year. And now I'm just looking at the current year's games. The other way to enter schedules into our system is this bulk create contest button here. Click on this, it brings you to a separate part of the application that allows you to upload a spreadsheet of a whole bunch of contests so you can quickly and easily create multiple contests at once. We've got this green instructions button right here. If you click on this, it gives you a detailed step-by-step instructions on how to actually use this tool and then some tips. I highly recommend you read this over before you start using the tool because it'll save you a lot of time and effort and answer any questions you might have. We also have this download template button, and this is going to download a blank Excel spreadsheet for you with a few column headers that you can copy and paste your information into so that our system can read your information. Let me show you what this template looks like real quick. So this is the template here with some sample information that I've entered, and you see the template's very simple. It's 5 columns: sport, date, time, opponent, home or away. And then each row you put underneath that is going to be a new contest. And so you see here, just for demo purposes, I've done 2 men's basketball and 2 women's basketball games. So once you copy and paste your information here, and again, remember, don't touch the first column here, these headers, because that's how our system knows to read your information. Save this document to your computer, go back to the platform here, and then click this Upload Contest File button. I'm going to change the year to 2021 since that's the year I'm uploading these contests for. Click Upload Contest File, select that document that you just saved, and then here's your documents. You can see our system quickly parses all the information you entered, and then for each of your contests, you see I've got my 2 men's basketball, 2 women's basketball. Each contest, there are 2 lines. There's the you input line, where we basically spit back to you exactly what you entered on your spreadsheet, exactly how you entered it. And then right below that, we have the recorded line, which tells you how our system interpreted the information that you entered. And we do this to make it very easy for you to double check that we read your information correctly. And so you can go through and you can just compare, what you entered to how we recorded it to ensure that our system read it correctly. If for some reason we made a mistake, say on the opponent, we read it wrong, you can always click on the recorded, and then it gives you back that same tool you had as if you were creating this as a single game. And then you can choose, the right one if, Macomb, pretend, for example. But let's just say, you can make it match however you want, and so ensure that we did it correctly. So once each one is good, you can do the individual line where you create the contest, or if they're all good, you can click this button down here that says create all contests, and then it'll create all of them right away, and it clears out the tool, and you're back.